Hey everybody, welcome to Myopia Movies. This week we're talking about Avatar 2009 in honor of the new one, Fire and Ice, I believe, or something like that. But this is a huge movie. We haven't done anything like this before. And we wanted to do it because, of course, this is going to be probably one of the top 5 biggest movies of all time, as the last 2 have been. I mean, it's Jim Cameron. He controls 3 of the top 4 slots, so I think it's a pretty safe bet. But in the meantime, we just wanted to, take a little break, talk about something that wasn't so Christmassy in case someone doesn't like to completely be overwhelmed with Christmassy stuff. And don't worry, we will end the month again with 1 or 2 holiday classics, including a visit from Ernest and a horror movie. It's kind of a horror movie. Anyway, thanks for doing all you do to keep us on the charts and keep us relevant. We appreciate you. Thanks, everyone. Welcome to Myopia Movies. In honor of Avatar: Sound of Thunder, or whatever it's called, I've decided to dust off the original 2009 Avatar, which I guess I'd say is the one that started it all, but I don't think any of us thought that these sequels are ever coming out. So we're talking about 2009 James Cameron masterpiece.
Yes.
Yeah, masterpiece. Avatar. Just Avatar at that point. A effectively animated movie from 2009. I'm your host, Nick Hoffman, Riffer on Cineprov, and on panel I have
Keiko, also Riffer on Cineprov.
And if you're listening to this when it comes out, which is in mid-December 2025, the January 2026 show, you can come out and see Keiko in her first performance with Cineprov as well.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's exciting.
Tell people about it.
I know. If anything, you want your fans out there, right? You want them to hear you. And we will be doing the Joel Schumacher. At the moment, we're scheduled to do the Joel Schumacher classic, The Lost Boys. These things are subject to change depending on licensing. But for the moment, previous episode Lost Boys will be our January Cineprov show.
And I'm really excited about it because I love really deeply exploring vampire lore, so it's going to be fun for me.
Yeah, well, and what movies are you doing on your girls' night watching?
Twilight. My girls' night, we're doing Twilight, and I'm also very excited about that because our next movie that we're doing is finally the one where I get to see Bella be pregnant. And I've been asking that every single movie we watched so far. I'm like, is this the one where Bella gets pregnant? And this is going to be it. So it's kind of a big deal for me.
It sounds like it. My God.
She's gonna be a pregnant vampire. Well, actually, I don't know if she'll be a vampire. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm excited about it either way. It's gonna be sparkly and pregnant and vampire-y, and I'm really excited.
Delightful.
Nick was being kind of judgmental about us watching it. He was like, and it was funny because. And particularly me, at first I was like, yeah, Twilight, meh, meh, meh. And then later on he came downstairs and we were like, oh, so that's why they do blah, 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 blah. And this is, we got into it. We were converted.
That's so funny. I mean, and again, I'm not a huge fan of the movies, but I understand the charm of them. And at a certain point, they're not even put together particularly well. But but people are.
But that's part of the joy of it, because even if the story gets boring for a minute, they make some really weird filmography choice, and you're just like, what? Why is everything blue now? Or just weird. Very weird things. So it's always fun to watch them. Actually, speaking of everything being blue, there's another movie where they kind of do that.
I was going to say, speaking of, the opposite. This is very well put together. Did you see this in theaters first?
Oh gosh. I think I did, but I don't remember. But I think the amount that I love this movie, I had to have seen it in the theater first because I mean, this movie was so hyped up as being one that you had to see in the theater. And I guess we don't really have as many of those these days. Um, like what was the last one that people were saying had to be a theater movie? Like the
I
last
mean,
Avatar?
if we take the other Avatar movies out of it, because the what was the last one? The Way of Water, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I got that vibe from that one. But the last one before that, I would say, was Endgame, Avengers Endgame.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah, I didn't think about the superhero ones. I guess the other one I was thinking, what was the one that came out at the same time as Barbie?
oh, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that was the other one that came to my mind that like if we had the time, we would have wanted to see that in theater. But
yeah. I ended up
I mean,
I ended up getting a copy and seeing it.
we
Um,
have a little, cheapo like home projector set up in our basement. You've seen it. And that has been really awesome for watching movies because like that's how we watched Avatar today for the podcast on our little theater, and it's quite nice to be able to watch movies like that at home.
no, it is. I love this stuff. And I watched this myself on the TV with the kids, and I don't think they got the movie, but it is a really pretty thing to watch. Like, it's a
Oh
good
yeah, like
looking film.
yeah,
You
that's
know.
the thing. Even if you don't like care about what's happening, it's so beautiful. Like you want to live in Pandora. I guess
Hmm.
I guess we need to do a synopsis. I guess we're there.
I mean, it's. I will say this is kind of difficult because you either go really really short because it's a very basic premise, or you go kind of long because it's a 2.5 hour long movie, and like they keep pushing the length of these other ones.
Yeah,
Um,
well, this is Ferngully. Like,
yeah.
so if you've seen Ferngully, that's the plot of this movie. It's uh it's an eco love story.
Well, I mean, it's almost exactly Pocahontas as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like two people from opposite worlds fall in love, right? And it's that story as well, right? But yeah, Kieko, you want to take us through it?
Sure. So we have our protagonist, Jake Sully, and he is a Marine who apologies. I don't remember if they really address how he becomes wheelchair bound. I think he had an accident, and they probably told us, but my kids were probably wrestling and like farting in my face or something. So I missed that. But he had an accident and he's now wheelchair bound, and they have called him into this special project on the planet Pandora that's a newly discovered planet that's been being studied by scientists and the military and all that because he is an identical twin to his brother who passed away, and they had built this avatar that could do like a neurological link with his brother, and because he's an identical twin, it could also link with him. So they were going to come and have him because these avatars are super expensive to create and can only be linked to, one set of DNA. So they have him come and serve as his brother's proxy in this avatar. And it's also an interesting story because he is wheelchair bound, but then when he goes into the avatar, he can walk again. And so he immediately is just like really excited to take on the avatar character and be in the avatar. And he's supposed to go and help the scientists kind of make contact with the people. They're trying to convince the aliens, the people that live on this planet, to leave their home. And we later find out that it's because their home is situated atop a mine of unobtainium, which is like a super valuable mineral that the bad guys want to get, a la Tim Curry in Ferngully, and a surprise to no one, Jake Sully ends up falling in love with the Navi person who teaches him their ways, and they get married in the Navi way. And then, it's a clash between the bad guy humans who just want to steal all their resources and don't respect nature, and the Navi who want the humans to just go away.
Yeah,
How's
that's
that?
good. Yeah, no, that works like perfectly. It's just again, it's either 30 seconds long or like you need a couple minutes to explain how this world works, right? Because I don't want to say that the plot doesn't matter because I'm not going to sit and watch a stupid movie for 3 hours or whatever it is, two and a half. So you do have to be drawn in, but the masterpiece here is the visuals, right? It looks really cool, and considering it's the most profitable movie ever made, bringing in almost $3 billion, um, it really is like uh, we didn't do this before for a lot of reasons. Um, but I think, in some ways the scope of the show has changed slightly. But like part of it is I feel like this movie is not necessarily divisive because everyone saw it and had good reviews. I just after this I didn't think after I saw it I didn't think about it for a decade. And then they were talking about like, oh, we're gonna make a world for this at Animal Kingdom in Disney. I'm like, Disney owns this, and then they're like, yep, and we're making four sequels. I'm like, excuse me. Um,
Yeah, that's really interesting to me because I loved this first movie. And I actually had a really funny interaction with one of my husband's uncles. We were just chatting in the kitchen, and he was saying how much he loved Avatar, and I think I was like, "Oh, that's the only movie that was so bad that I left the theater for." Like I walked out of the theater, and he was shocked, and he was like,
yeah.
"What do you mean? Like you left the theater?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was terrible." And then what we realized was I was talking about the anime Avatar, like the live action
Oh,
movie
the M
that
Night
they
Shyamalan one.
yeah. So I was like that's the only movie that I've ever walked out on, and he was talking about the Blue People Avatar. Anyway.
Which is the better movie. Yeah, that Shyamalan movie we've danced around doing for a while, but like
Oh,
that means I'd have to watch it.
yeah, no, it's bad and in not a good way. Like it's just it's bad and boring. I don't even remember if it looks good. It probably does, based on the story or whatever, but I would just skip that. But I've always loved this movie. I think I don't like to rewatch a lot of movies.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just don't really enjoy rewatching movies that much unless it's a Christmas movie.
Sure.
But this movie, I enjoy it every time I watch it. And I mean, I think that says something. Like the story is very, very good. Um, in addition to the visuals. So I actually thought about it a lot, and I guess this whole time they've been making the sequels. Like, have they been
I
actively working on them?
I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing with George Lucas and Star Wars. Like he claimed he was writing those prequels for an awfully long time. I I don't know. Like I mean, part of it in my head is always that you are talking to a dude who just would like get in submarines and go visit the Titanic. So like, Jim Cameron can say whatever he wants, and I'll just be like, sure, why
Yeah.
not, buddy?
He was
Like,
probably writing while he was down there. He was probably,
yeah.
getting some ideas for the way of water.
Yes. Oh, and he's charging Disney to make sure that he gets down there to really understand the way of water.
Right. When you have the Disney budget, you gotta make sure you use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. I mean, and I feel like he just did all this crazy stuff like when Avatar came out, the story about the way the first one was made was it was one of the first movies to use that like, facial tracking, that body tracking thing where they're doing CGI overlaid on real action.
No,
Um,
exactly. I think this was the first movie that I was aware of, like the dots, right? Where you
right. The
cover the
little dots
actor with
all
the
over
like
them because you always think of what's her face? What's her
Zoe
name?
Saldana.
Yeah, Zoe Saldana with that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
But yeah, no,
I have always loved this movie, and we actually saw The Way of Water in IMAX, and that was really cool.
oh really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, it had the same, I recently learned in like video game world, there's it's like a tropical vibe.
Uh-huh.
And it has that where it's just the, the crystal beautiful blue water. But it was really
Interesting.
spectacular to see in IMAX. But and the story was good for me. I don't think it hit the same as this first one does, though.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the problem with sequels in general, because you have to heighten it each time, right? Um, and so for this first one, where I mean, we need to get into it a little bit, but like
Yeah,
it does a
yeah,
really good job of establishing this world uh, very efficiently, honestly. Like it's not easy to do. And for a movie that is 3 hours or 2.5 hours long and is alien and it's, a world that frankly James Cameron is perfect for. Uh, it is very light on its feet, and you do have these moments of character development that really work,
hmm
um I think Jim Cameron in general is someone who is probably one of our best sci-fi directors just as a whole, and one of the reasons that he is I don't feel this is weighed down in any sort of like super heavy lore. It's sprinkled in throughout, right? Like no one has to really get sat down and explained what's happening because we learn it quite honestly
yeah,
and
naturally.
frankly. The idea of the brother and the identical twin is so smart because then we don't have to follow someone through basic training. Like in another movie, like they have to explain all this stuff, or we just have to assume that everyone knows it. Well, this is kind of the perfect alternative in that everyone does know it except for this one guy, but we don't have to watch them building the avatar. We just pop it in. We don't have to be explained
Yeah.
anything.
No, that's such a good point. And like we think about the difference in this and like another movie we just watched recently, Doom, and
Yeah.
how poorly that movie builds that world. And maybe it's because they didn't have the liberties that they have with Avatar, or I don't know. But it's just really interesting to put the two together and think of that, like how the character and the audience is introduced to the world and how it's so right in this movie where you just accept it and you, like you said, you learn it in bits and pieces. It's not like a dump at the beginning from some scientist like, well, we're here on this planet and see, and there's these blue people and they've only got four fingers, and
Yeah.
it's 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 not spoon fed to us, but then it's also not like in Doom where they just don't give you any background until suddenly they do, and you've got like angel aliens. I don't know, but this movie's so good. This is probably why you haven't done it before because it's just good, and there's not a lot bad to say about it.
No, I mean, and like that's one of the reasons we didn't do it before is exactly that problem. Like,
Yeah,
but we do more good movies now than we used to. Um, and so like we do need to get into it and kind of poke the bear a little bit. But like, um, just for a second, Jim Cameron as a whole might be the up there with Nolan as the best directors that are currently working, other than his first movie, which is really just because he did special effects for Roger Corman, so we got to do Piranha 2: The Spawning, which is awful. Uh,
blockbuster. I'm sure it's
it,
wonderful.
I mean, it's your B movie classic, but it looks good because he's good with special effects, right? Like that's it. But other than that, he's done The Terminator,
Yeah.
Aliens, the second one, The Abyss, which was a bomb, but I think is kind of a cool movie, Terminator 2, True Lies, and then Titanic,
Uh,
Avatar, Avatar 2, and Avatar 3. That's the only movies he's directed. And
Yeah.
like all of them are great. And three of them are the top four movies ever made for revenue, right?
Wow.
And Terminator 2 and True Lies also broke the $1 billion. Oh, and the Aliens. Like, so the man knows filmmaking. It's just remarkable. And I believe he's currently an explorer in residence at the National Geographic Society.
Yeah, I'm seeing other like actual like documentary, like deep sea documentary films that he's apparently made too. So, yeah, I mean, whatever. He doesn't do it a lot apparently, but when he does, he is spot on.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, the Titanic. My mom actually like poked me in the eye with her fingernail because she was checking to see if I was crying in the movie theater, and I wasn't crying until she stabbed me in the eye, and then I was. That's my memory of Titanic.
I don't know if we can do Titanic. That's what I don't know if we could put together.
Oh, I
It's
think
also a good
so.
movie. What's
I
up?
think so. Yeah. Let's get Daniel. I'm sure Daniel has some really good thoughts about Titanic.
Maybe you should do it with the girls group.
Yeah, that would actually be a good one to do next.
Well, I mean, but like by the time you've done it, this movie, Titanic isn't any longer. I mean, by the time you've done the third Twilight movie, I doubt Titanic's any longer,
Well,
right?
movies are
Like,
really long. How long is Titanic?
Titanic 2 is
Oh,
Titanic has got to be what, almost 3 hours. It came on two VHS tapes.
IMDb says 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay, so it is longer than Twilight.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's kind of long.
It
I mean,
is.
and that's why we never watched Oppenheimer because it is hard to like it was hard for me to even carve the time out to watch this movie, today. Um, but whatever, it's beautiful. And honestly, I I can't think of anything that I think would be cut. Can you?
No, I think it's very tight. I mean, and Cameron does not waste a frame either. You know, like if you had to cut much, like yeah, I know that that general guy is evil from the beginning. Like we don't have to like build up his evilness.
Right, right. Like,
Um,
we get it. The giant head scar, we're good.
yeah, there aren't a lot of heroes with giant head scars like that in movies.
Well, but he
Um,
does have, I feel like a lot of the establishing little scenes they have with him are to show just how, like, macho he is. Like like when he went into the, out into the open air to shoot at them, as they were, like, stealing a ship. And he can't breathe and he doesn't care. He just wants to try to shoot them. Like he's just this, super macho guy.
yeah, that scene is weird. It's very much it reminds me of that scene from like Schindler's List where the guy just has a rifle and he's firing at people. Like
Yeah.
it seems very like, but how do we make him more evil?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Why not? Hell.
Yeah, no, it really does work to show that wow, he is like brutal and
Yeah.
yeah.
The actor is Stephen Lang, who I'm sure he's done a million things, but
Well, he's
like,
always a bad guy, right? He has to be.
yeah, which means he's the nicest person on the planet, right? Like, um, but he is like, I'm trying to think like what else he's in. All I can think of it when he showed up, I'm like, oh right, it's the guy from Avatar.
This says he's in Tombstone.
Yeah. Actually, the first place I know him from is funny enough. When we were in high school, we read the play Death of a Salesman, and we watched the version with John Malkovich and Dustin Hoffman, and he's the guy who plays the older brother, Happy.
Oh.
Um, yeah. But other than that, like looking at what he was in, yeah, no, it's just he's been in 1,000 things, mostly TV, it seems like. Um, but he's just a character actor who this time plays a putz, and he's a really good putz. And he won a Saturn Award, so good for him.
Oh, cool.
Um, but yeah, you should also just look at this if you pull it up. But he plays Major General George Pickett in Gettysburg. He is a general at least 4 other times. He's Stonewall Jackson in Gods and Generals. He is General Hopgood in The Men Who Stare at Goats. He is Colonel Miles here. But like, and he's Lieutenant Jake Russa in Officer Down. So he looks like a cop. In Jarhead 2, he's a major. And then in a bunch of stuff, he's the president. So he just looks like you said, he just looks like a military guy. So there you have it. We also have in this, oh god, what's his name? The guy who plays the little toady who works for
Norm Spellman?
Yes, I guess so.
The friend, the scientist, the real scientist who gets yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I recognize
he's
him.
Joel Moore, in one of those careers that doesn't exist but is cool, along with Sigourney Weaver. I think they're supposed to be xenoanthropologists, which is just anthropologists for aliens.
I feel like he is like the true hero of the story. He throws a pretty hardcore punch late in the movie.
He does. And I was also kind of come up with Giovanni Ribisi. He's the corporate administrator for RDA, the little toady guy. And it's funny because like Sigourney Weaver is like this powerful, tall woman, and Giovanni Ribisi is clearly like 3 feet tall, right? And so like everything she did, like I love Sigourney Weaver, but everything about her build and her confidence and like her posture looks down on this tiny man. And so when he pretends to be a big dude, like he kind of like leans forward and like thrusts the unobtainium in her face and goes, "We're doing it for this." Like he's like, but when he bends down like that, he's just at boob height. And she's just like, oh God, all these dudes are the same. It's just, again, and it's Jim Cameron being a masterful with like body language, but it is just so funny. Like,
no, and it's perfect for him to be like the wormy, like sleazy guy that's just here for the money. Like it fits, it works.
It does. And it's just funny that he's not the powerful guy. Because what is interesting here, right, as opposed to, say, a lot of other movies like this, you could just have the military, right? Like that's the thing with Starship Troopers, right? Or you could have just the corporation. But the fact that there's both here kind of at different ends, on top of the fact that they're these scientists who are trying to learn them, and the Na'vi.
Yeah, and they're competing. Like the two human sides are also competing.
Right. And like, and they allow Sam Worthington then to have to negotiate this world, and even the stuff that he's doing, right? Feels like very natural reactions. Like you said, they don't really go into why he lost his legs, but it's alluded to that because he was a Marine, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay,
accident, who knows,
Yeah, it's the year 2154, so I assume it's still something with the Middle East or Latin America, because that's where we can't seem to keep our hands out of. Aww. But, he is very much a Marine at heart, and, like, because of that, the Colonel thinks that he can take advantage of it. But also, like, he's trying to do these things because he wants to, like you said, he definitely wants to still walk around. And, like, the fact that he has this incredible freedom by being in this huge body. We haven't really talked about this, but the Na'vi are, like, 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
And what they do is, we don't really understand the process, which we don't have to. They don't have to explain this crap to us. This is the year 2154. So future technology is future technology. Cool. But they've made this Navi avatar. I mean, it's an avatar in the true sense of the word, in that it's like a representation of the person in avatar form. And they do a good job of making it look vaguely like Joel Moore, Sam Worthington, and Sigourney Weaver. But it's all this effect stuff that looks really cool.
Yeah.
And it wires their brains in. So as they are in these sleeping pod things, they're controlling this giant 8-9 foot tall thing. Yeah, and they have tails, which and ponytails, which come into incredibly odd importance later on.
Yeah, they use their tails to do it, I think,
Yeah, bone
right?
down. Yeah,
But not just that, but to like basically what we learned about this planet is that everything on this planet is connected almost like like a brain, like the planet itself is a living thing, and all of these creatures and plants that live on it are like part of the planet. That's like what we're really getting at, but we're kind of exposed to it in little bits and ways throughout. So the Navi have this little tail weenus thing that tickles together with somebody else's tail weenus, and they like connect. And
yeah.
so the Navi do it with like creatures that they are riding, such as these like wet horses, and also the banshees, the like pterodactyl kind of creatures. um, and then they
And
also
then
can do it with each other.
yeah, and then he uses his tail weenus to get the biggest dragon of them all.
Yeah, the what's it called? The Turok,
Yeah, something like that.
yeah, Turok Tall. I don't know. We
Yep.
just watched Dances with Wolves, and I just want to say Tatanka. That's wrong. That's not what it is.
Yeah, but what you said there with Dances of Wolves is a real word,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
these are fake words that they made up.
Yeah, but
Um,
didn't he make like a whole like real Navi language?
oh, I'm sure he claimed to do a lot of things. But no, like I would assume that he figured this stuff out, right? Because um, they even give the ones in the Way of Water like a slightly different dialect, right? Like
Yeah.
in this one, in the main tribe that we come across, where I mean, the stuff with the tribe of Navi is very, very, very much the Pocahontas part, right? Like the spiritual leader, Moat, is played by CCH Pounder, who's again one of the great character actresses of a generation. The head of the clan is Wes Studi, a famous Native American actor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe he's Cherokee.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so you get Cherokees and Native Americans and African Americans to say, "Hey, look, all the white people are showing up stealing the natural resources."
As
Huh.
usual.
As usual. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like when they first put him in the Avatar body, and there's a bunch of other people in Avatar suits just playing basketball.
Well, and so what we learned about like in the very beginning when Jake first gets put into the Avatar, we learned that Norm has been he's clocked over 500 hours in his Avatar, and this is, Jake's first time, and they're just testing to like make sure he can actually do the connection like they think he can because of his DNA. And poor Norm has like learned the language and has been studying the language for 5 years and can, speak it. And here comes Jake, and he wakes up in the Avatar, and they're making them, touch all their fingers together, wiggle their toes, look left and right, do all these tests to make sure that the connection is good. And he just gets up and like runs away because he can run again, because this is the first time he's like stood in who knows how long. And then he passes through like some kind of like courtyard where there are other people in avatars, and I think they're just like practicing existing in avatars, and they don't really go into too much detail. Like this is the one sort of montage that we get where the scientist kind of puts them all to bed, camp, summer camp style, and she's like, "Good night, kitties," and locks the door, and all the avatars go to bed, and they all wake up in their human forms. So we see people farming and playing basketball, and also she tossed him like a random fruit thing, and he just like ate it. But she didn't tell him that was food, and I don't know that I would have eaten that.
No, the idea that she's like, oh no, oh stop, wait,
Don't eat that! Basketball!
He just starts twitching.
Yeah.
Drooling on the ground.
Like, why would he do that? Why would he just suddenly eat that food? Anyway, that was one. It really took me out, Nick. It really.
You know what? I wonder if that was. I wonder if that wasn't like the proof of concept. Like he like directed those two actors, right? It's Sigourney Weaver and Huntington. Sam Wellington. Sorry, I had it for a second there.
Worthington?
But
what's his name?
It's Sam Worthington.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wonder if that was not like the first thing they filmed and applied CGI to, because it's a very silly scene, right?
Yeah.
That's when she, like, how do I put this? Let's not forget that the avatars are not humans, right? So when we go to the Na'vi village and we see them, like, they're wearing like.
Her Navi's wearing like booty shorts.
Yeah, they're essentially wearing loincloths and then
the tribal people, yes.
The tribal people. But like in this initial scene, Sigourney Weaver is wearing like a Stanford jersey.
Yeah.
No, a tank top.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh good. So they made her a jersey.
No,
Fantastic.
you know who she looks like? Who's the bunny rabbit?
Lola
Babs
Bunny.
in Space Jam. She's wearing
Lola.
Yeah, her Babs. She's wearing
Babs is Tiny Toon Adventure.
She's wearing that bunny's outfit. It's like this little tiny crop top and some shorts, which, I guess in all fairness, I would like to see a normal human hold Avatar clothes because they have to be like giant.
Yeah, the laundry day sequence was the one that they had time to cut.
And all these, I really enjoyed seeing all the little tiny humans compared to the avatars, and I was a little sad that they didn't have them together that much, which I guess is probably really, really hard to film. But I did like those few moments where we do get to kind of see an avatar's hand compared to, a human, and see that size difference. But maybe because they used it sparingly is why I appreciate it and I think it's cool, but
No, I agree. I'm just having fun.
yeah.
Like, it's funny, like, as far as actors go from like 2009-ish, Sam Worthington is such like an interesting choice because he's an Aussie playing an American, and so he's trying to like suppress that accent pretty hard. But like, just think in 2009, there's so many other dudes out there that he could have been. Like, apparently Jake Gyllenhaal was pushed by the studio. That would have been a disaster. But it was offered.
He does such a good job.
Yeah, I mean, they offered it to Matt Damon, but Matt Damon was doing the Bourne movies at the time. But had he done it, they were offering him a 10% stake in the film. So he would have made something like, what, $300 million?
Wow.
That's so much money.
Well,
Chris Pratt, Chris Pines were also there,
Do you think that this movie being pitched, like people maybe didn't believe in it though? Like they were like, I'll pass on the weird giant blue people movie.
I wonder too if it wasn't like, okay, we're gonna start filming it now, but it won't come out for 3 years, kind of thing too. Because like, Jim Cameron does something, people show up, but apparently he created the treatment for this back in the 90s while he was filming Titanic, knowing that it would be like the next thing he wanted to do. But then it took a decade to come together. So like part of it too is just like, all right, Jim, like, what are we doing? I saw an interview with Zoe Saldana talking about this, and she was saying, like, I'm going to be making these films until at least 2031. I
Right,
signed a contract when I was in my early 20s.
right. That's a long time. But she's also doing like a lot of other things.
Oh, sure.
And
She's
weird
great
things
as
too. Like
Uhura.
I've seen her do commercials. She did like a Netflix special that's like absolutely heartbreaking. I don't recommend it. It's very sad. It's good, but it's like a love story. But she does a lot.
Well, and I was going to say, speaking of movies that we might do, because now we can, they're almost all in our domain. I really like those Star Trek movies that came out in 2009, and she plays
Oh yeah.
Uhura. And she's a badass Uhura. Like J.J. Abrams made sure that they all had stuff to do. And so like she has agency. She tells Kirk to shove it. Like it's cool. She does a great job. I like her in everything she's been in. Um,
Yeah, actually we also watched the Adam Project. Do you know
oh
that
yeah,
one? Um
I know of it. I have not seen it.
so
Um,
it's Ryan Reynolds and Zoe Saldana's in it. And it's like a time travel. It's like a sci-fi time travel movie. Um that one is really cute. I don't know why it's not more popular, but
well, and let's be clear here. You don't have to worry about her. She's doing fine. She was also, of course, Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy.
right, right, right.
Um, she's so whenever like any of those characters come back, like it don't matter. Those next couple movies might be complete garbage. She's still doing fine.
Yeah,
And like you said, she gets to do cool things. Like she was Nina Simone in that Nina Simone movie
yeah.
called Nina. But that means she's in Star Trek, Avatar, and the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
She,
you're right. She's good.
she's doing fine. That is so much.
And
Like,
I mean, I think it's just interesting to me because I feel like she is a huge actress. She's
mhm,
well known. She's like, famous, whatever, A-list. I don't feel the same about Sam Worthington. Like this is what I know him from. I don't know what else he's in, but he has so much heart and
mhm.
charm in this. It makes me curious to see, other things of his, but
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm not sure
Like,
why I don't know, maybe I'm just not, privy to the other things he's in.
yeah, no, I don't know. Like, part of the thing with him to me as well is that like he since he started in Australia, I think a lot of it was just a lot of his early films. It took a while to get over here, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Um,
point. Wait a minute,
you
this
know,
says
and
he's in Bootman.
yeah, which is an Aussie film.
Oh my gosh, I love that movie. We
So
should do
you
that.
love you've loved him before.
I didn't
You've
know.
always loved Sam Worthington.
I have, and I will forever. Even in the year 2050 when Avatar 72 comes out.
Oof. Actually, maybe this is the reason why you don't know him. So Avatar is great. It is. But he was also in that Terminator Salvation movie, the McG one, the one that what's his name? Christian Bale had that freak out on set where he yelled at the lighting guy. That's awful. He
Oh,
was also in the same year Perseus in that Clash of the Titans remake that was all CGI.
didn't see that.
So and that was all 2009. Like, so in out of three movies, he was in the biggest movie of all time, and then two duds.
Oh,
Um,
weird. Yeah, so maybe he just didn't like pick up like that.
well, and also I think you got it right, which a lot of people do not, which is it's not that he is the action hero because you could watch this and think, oh, what's great is his physicality, but
No.
what's great is his heart because if you look at everything else he's done, it's all physical stuff. Wrath of the Titans, like Sabotage, like these are big like action films, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
let's
no,
advance.
that's a good point. Maybe he wasn't given an opportunity to really be, you know, this charming. Like, I mean, he's everything in this movie. He's funny. He is a lot of the comedic relief of the movie is him. Um, charm, all of it. Anyway,
Um, and sorry, I was just looking up some of his other movies. In 2006, he was in a version of Macbeth,
okay.
directed by Jeffrey Wright. Not that Jeffrey Wright, the Australian who directed Romper Stomper, the Russell Crowe movie.
Oh, no,
In the
not familiar.
cemetery, yeah. So he was Macbeth. In the cemetery, the three weird sisters, three schoolgirl witches, are just defacing headstones, yada yada yada. But Macbeth leads Duncan and his gang to a drug deal with MacDonald and his men. The gunfight between the gangs, all of MacDonald's gang are killed. So it's Romeo plus
Yeah,
Juliet.
that's what I was it was that era of, but it was a bad one. It just wasn't a good one.
Oh, and you know what's funny? Isn't what's his name? Who directed Romeo plus Juliet?
It's that weird guy.
Oh, Baz Luhrmann. Baz Luhrmann is also an Aussie.
Interesting.
And so you know that's how it was pitched. I'm going to do a modern interpretation with guns of a classic Shakespearean
Yeah,
play.
yeah, just like Romeo plus Juliet.
And I'm going to get the guy who directed Romper Stomper. Let's do it.
I mean,
Woo!
it
Okay.
might be a good episode. It could be
Yeah.
really good, and maybe we just don't know. But I don't know about that.
We do not know. We have done one Macbeth before on the podcast. We did the Coen Brothers one that came out a few years ago with Denzel.
Oh, cool.
That was a good
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah. Nora was talking about that. I haven't seen that.
It's great. I think it's Apple Plus exclusive. Anyway, let's jump ahead in the movie a little bit. The first time he goes out on a mission, it goes tits up immediately.
Yeah,
Right.
because he's messing with, planet mushrooms and goofing off.
Yeah. Yeah. And he ends up like, I guess we should mention Michelle Rodriguez's character here, who is like a pilot. She ends up helping him later on. But they kind of do a walk around just to do a little exploration, get him used to the body, like you said, where he gets attacked by this weird giant, like hammerhead
It's like a hammerhead
rhino.
triceratops. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's talking about body language, right? Because like she's a xenobiologist,
Yeah.
and
she
the other
says,
guy
hold
is a
your ground. It's territorial. Hold your ground. And he like postures and kind of hoops and hollers at it, and it starts to back off. And he's like, aha! He's like full of himself, thinking he's scared this giant thing away. And then this like salamander panther comes out from behind him, and you know and then he's like, well, what do I do with this one? Do I stand my ground? And she's like, run.
Yeah.
Really
I mean,
good.
and it is a good little moment of levity because this movie never gets dour, but like I said, it is light on its feet, and this is one of those moments. And so
Yeah.
he runs off into the brush, and by the way, we're doing a terrible job of this podcast explaining the actual movie because we're 15 minutes in to the recording, and we're only like 30 minutes into the movie. But
It's
like,
a long movie. It's harder to say it with words than showing it with beautiful, you know, Technicolor visuals like they do.
yeah, no, I'm not arguing with you there.
You're right.
But he runs off into the woods essentially, and a whole bunch of these panther things start showing up. And he has essentially made a torch, and he's holding them back like they're Frankenstein or something, just like shoving the torch at them. And as such, he's getting like deeper into Navi territory. And this is when we're first introduced to Zoe Saldana's character,
Hmm.
right?
And we get a
Um,
really cool moment where she is gonna just shoot him with an arrow, and
mhm.
this little jellyfish bug flies down and very gently lands on the tip of her arrow and makes her pause, and then it floats away and she, takes her arrow down. And we learn later that those are seeds of their great tree, which are like a strong symbol for the Navi people, um, like representing like the mother of the planet, Awa, which is, I guess, like their god or something. Um, so we learn that later, and then there's also another scene when she and Jake, this very first night, um, are walking together, and the little jellyfish thing come up to him, and he like swats them away, and he's like, swatting at
Right.
them, and she stops him, and they all come and like collect on him and like glow around him for a second before floating on. So she's interpreting all of this to be like he's important for some reason, but we don't really know that yet.
Exactly. And this to me is the most Pocahontas it gets, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
because this is like Colors of the Wind. Like the colors are vivid and gorgeous. And there's that scene in Colors of the Wind where John Smith just sees a bear and just fucking decides to shoot the bear,
Yeah.
right? And she lowers the gun, right? And when she lowers the gun, it turns out that there are two bear cubs. And again, like that's what this feels like to me.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, it's also very much Ferngully.
yeah,
Like in Ferngully, there's a scene where she and he go off together, and in that movie, I won't go into the whole background. It's basically Avatar, but with fairies. But she's a fairy and he's a human, and they're destroying the forest, and he's just like a construction worker. And he gets shrunken to be the size of a fairy, and they go off one night, and she's showing him their world, and everything has this like phosphorescent, like they go swimming in this grotto, and there's bioluminescence twirling around them in the water. Like it's really cool how
yeah.
similar it is.
Well, and the her name is Natiri, right? And like the whole thing is that like you said, they're running through the forest. As they run, he's like tapping he notices that
Yeah,
the mushrooms glow when they kind of scrape by them. So he's like doing a drum solo, and
yeah,
then all of a sudden, some bullets take him out at the legs, and then we get introduced to Coco or whatever the guy from Pocahontas is called,
yeah.
like the other dudes who
Oh
are
yeah,
very
yeah,
much
the
new.
bros, the tribal bros. And that, I think that same exact scene happens in Ferngully when they're like
Mhm.
hopping along on mushrooms, and the mushrooms are lighting up as they like hop, from one to the next. So it's
Man, it's funny. I have not seen that movie in a while. As you're describing it, I'm like, oh no, this that is the exact same scene.
it's yeah, no,
That's funny.
it's crazy. In fact, we should watch Ferngully just to see how much it is like Avatar. But
Yeah,
um
you know what? Maybe when the next one comes out, we will
yeah,
redo the
instead of doing
Ferngully
The Way of the
episode.
Water, we'll just do Ferngully.
Yeah, why not? Hell.
Yeah, let's do it.
Um, yeah, and at this point too, we get taken into the Avatar, or sorry, the Navi village. Right, this is where we're introduced to
Hmm.
CCH Pounder and West Studi, right, and all them.
Yeah, and she pricks him and tastes his blood.
Sure does.
I'm not sure what that tells her, but sure.
Oh God, you're gonna want to get yourself tested. Um, but yeah, I do like that she apparently one of the things for plot convenience, which is great. Apparently, Sigourney Weaver set up a school to teach the Navi English, right? It's because like a bunch of them do speak English, and then
Oh,
refuse
right,
to
right, right.
around him, which is really funny.
Yeah, no, I had that same thought, and that's one of the, like there are things about this movie that you could choose to criticize if you want to. That is one of them that Like, it's super convenient that all of these tribal people who hate humans um, just happen to know English. Like, it's nice because our main character does not have any experience with the Navi language, so
Yeah.
but he does learn.
I'll also just say, rewatching this, the Navi themselves, they did a really good job. Again, I'm sure knowing Jim Cameron, like they connected up a whole bunch of people. Like I'm sure it started out with him reading things like Edgar Rice Burroughs or whatever, but like I bet you he talked to people who deal with anthropology about like how would these people dress, right? Like this is a very interesting idea for an alien. This is someone who's dealt with interesting aliens in the past, right? The
Yeah.
xenomorphs and such. But like, you know, you can't just have them walking around naked. Then they just look like Smurfs, right? Um,
Maybe
and
they
they,
tried that first and they were like, "Oh,
right. But like at the same time, like they give them vaguely human characteristics, kinda, but not really. They do have loincloths on. Like, I don't know. It's just
yeah."
interesting the way they chose to do this stuff. Like, the chieftain has kind of this vanguard around him that have feathers. The head shaman lady, played by CCH Pounder, has like these kind of like is like ringed by things.
Yeah,
Like
she has
it's
like a
just neat. It looks
breastplate,
cool.
like a
Yep.
beaded kind of breastplate thing. So, I mean, it's all obviously very inspired by tribal dress. I couldn't say if there were any, specific tribes that were inspirations. I mean, knowing James Cameron, there might be, right? He may have had like particular tribes that he found and followed, and because he's just crazy like that and he would do that.
Yes. No, I mean again, like he gets to do whatever he wants because he's Jim Cameron at this
But either
point.
way, it's very believable. Like, you
Mhm.
accept it. I didn't have any issues with, like, what they wear.
No. And again, their body kind of adjusts to what we need. Um, Zoe Saldana, like they didn't have her just walk around naked. She's always wearing something. But that gives it kind of this lived-in feel. I appreciate also that everyone dresses differently, right? Like it would have been really easy to make them all look the same, but they don't. And that's one of those
Hmm.
things that I'm sure took for freaking ever.
Yeah.
But it does cool. It does look cool. Um,
Yeah, and you notice that a couple of times in the scenes like in the Great Tree when they show these like vast numbers of Navi people, like it doesn't look like in some movies where a CGI crowd is just like, heads and shoulders, just like random heads and shoulders all put together, cut and paste. It really does feel like if you look at every individual on a big screen, they're all different, they're all unique, they're all wearing different things. Um, there are children, there are elderly people, or aliens. I don't know. Are they people? I think they're people. We were having
sure.
that discussion when we were watching. We were like, are they people? I think so. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
I
it's
will
it's just
also,
really cool how detailed they were in creating the world. Again, as
yeah.
we have said a million times.
And I wonder if Sigourney Weaver's wasn't the first like one that they generated, because I think almost all the other ones look more detailed. Like especially when we're in the Navi village, like the way CCH Pounder's character looks, like it's incredibly defined, right? Um, but anyway, we can kind of go through this. Like like all white guys, he's failed up, right? He did what everyone else wanted to do and has been trying to do for years, get accepted by the Navi village. And with the exception, it seems, of Sigourney Weaver, no one has succeeded.
Yeah.
And then he stumbles into it literally on his first
On
day.
the first night there, and
Yeah.
and by the initiating factor was him goofing off and getting attacked by monsters
Yep.
to get in, and so then the holy lady, who we find out is what's her name's mom. It's like she's the basically the princess of the Navi people. Um,
Right.
she says, "Well, you have to show him, the ways of our people. That's your job." And so that's what
Uh,
they do. And then we get a montage. Get a cool
and then I
montage.
imagine that the next movie starts with, and now you have to show him the ways of water. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
kind of
like,
weird how they they just went there. But I mean, I
yeah,
guess they're spoiler, but their home does get destroyed here, so
that's right.
they do have to go
Um,
somewhere else.
but like, effectively, what's going on is like you said, we have a montage. He leaves to get human sleep because like the other thing is that
Yeah,
this is just like a homunculus, right? Like he's connected, and like you said, they have four fingers, except for him. He has five fingers. That's how they all know he's a person.
yeah.
Um,
The avatars have 5 fingers.
yeah. Um, and the whole time he's doing these video logs trying to explain what's going on. But his body, his human body, has to rest because it's still a real functioning body. And essentially, he's spending more and more time in the avatar body and less time in his like. And so essentially, Sigourney has to remind him to eat and to sleep and to actually
Yeah,
get rest because he's running himself ragged.
yeah. And
Um,
I think that that's a really interesting, part of this story, and I think they do a really good job of telling that part and showing how he's not eating. He's doing these logs late at night because basically he has to wait until his avatar body goes to sleep, and then he goes back into his human body, and he can, do, like, I guess go to the bathroom and eat and stuff like that. So he's very tired, because
right.
he's doing all of that and then being a crazy tree hopper during the day.
Exactly. And this whole time he's getting the intel about first from Moore, right, who's telling him like this is how you do the proper greetings. Like, yes, they speak English, but you need to try. You can't just be a loud American in Europe. And then in return, it's flipped around. Now he is starting to learn more about their people because he's the one who's actually living amongst them,
Yeah.
right? And just like all these things, effectively, there is some sort of rite of ritual manhood. And in this case, he's effectively ready. So he has to claim his own dragon thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, the big mean one whose name I called him Coco the entire time because that's the one from Pocahontas. But it's not. But
I
um,
don't know. I
it,
mean, he mostly just calls him brother the whole time.
Well, and they call him moron in Navi, I think.
Oh, I think Suse.
Yeah, exactly, which is
I think
moron.
that's his name.
But it's Laz Alonso's character, Suti, I think, or Sute.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah,
Um,
Sute.
yeah, and he's like their top warrior. He's the one who's in love
Right.
with Neytiri, which means inevitably he's going to have his heart broken because we all know how this goes. Um, they're, I mean, they're going to attach their weenuses or whatever you called it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which he also did with his dragon, because he did get a dragon.
he did get a dragon. Um, yeah, no, this didn't require a whole movie series. He trained his dragon pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they're making fun of him, but like he does it. Like he it's actually a pretty cool little action sequence,
Oh yeah,
right?
I love that scene. I think that scene is really cool. And I mean, it seems to be his way to do it like clunkily and awkwardly. Like she calls him, she's like, you're like a baby. You're like a little toddler, always trying to kill yourself on everything. Like, but he does it. He catches one, and then some of the other guys like cheer for him, and the Kokomo guy,
Hmm.
Kokomo, Kokomo.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
he like scolds the other guys for cheering for him.
yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Well, and like to me, this is also done almost the exact same in Aliens, right? Like they're the space marines, all these people who are very rough and they just want to, put it in and get the job done. And Sigourney Weaver's the one who's seen a few things before.
Yeah.
And, he's the Marine. He just wants to get it done. And the whole time they're trying to teach him subtlety. And then in the end, he has to teach them how to fight, which is, it's interesting. Like, again, that's character development for everyone. And it's good. But this whole sequence here where the dragon's refusing to listen and it's going up and going down and diving around, and we have these incredible shots of, I'm not entirely sure, I know this was filmed all over the place, but it looks remarkable, and a lot of it is CGI and some of it clearly isn't, but like the emotions they get out of these characters just looks phenomenal.
Oh yeah, and the fact that it's like 90% CGI and it still has so much heart, that's really special. Like that's hard to get. Maybe not nowadays because we have like CGI that can do How to Train Your Dragons and it looks great, but um when this movie was made, that was really really special.
Right. No, it's true. Like, and part of it too, that people think they can just do the Jim Cameron thing. They can't. Like, he's just he clearly planned the shots. Like, none of this is shooting from the hip. It's actually thought out, and
Yeah.
that makes a huge difference, right? Because you realize too that as they're flying around, you think you have grounding, right? You're like, okay, this is trees, these are rocks, we get this stuff. And then they go around to show that these islands are floating in the sky. And you're like, oh, right, still alien. Right? Um, Meanwhile, his human life is becoming more and more like, how do I even put this? Like depressing. Like
Well, yeah,
the
like
evil. Yeah, I mean,
the
it's almost
beard
always filmed
and
at night in gray.
yeah, he's got a beard. He's not taking care of himself. He hasn't showered in forever, and I think he's been avoiding the the bad guy, military guy, because he kind of knows that he is going to basically betray the people. And so he ends up meeting with him, and the bad guy kind of says, like, "Oh, so you're like you changed your mind or whatever," and he's like, "No, no, I can still do the job," and he's like, "Well, you already did. Like, we already have everything we need." And
Yeah.
I guess I don't know, maybe you can help me with this, but I don't think he says anything at that point. Like, I don't think he gives anything
He
else away.
essentially I mean, the colonel essentially accuses him of going native, right?
Right,
He says,
right.
"Are you lost in the woods?" Right? Like, and obviously, this is 2154, so it's not a Vietnam reference, but that's what they would say to people who had essentially believed that America shouldn't be there, and they start feeling for the Vietnamese,
Yeah.
right? Um, but again, like it's Cameron's visual storytelling. Uh, when he enters the world of the Na'vi, like they embrace him for who he is. Like he gets the face paint, he's welcomed into the tribe, and the world is filled with color, which the other world is not. Um, and this is where we get introduced to the idea of the tree of voices, where you attach your ponytail, your
Tailweenus.
tail weenus, yeah, to these like strands, and you can hear the voices of the dead
Yeah.
effectively. And this is where Zoe Saldana's character is wearing the absolute least, and they're about to get, they're down.
They
Uh,
get jiggy with it.
yeah, yeah. And again, the seeds show up, and he's like, "Well, I guess I'm going to spread some seeds now." And
Yeah. His seed, tree seeds, everybody's spreading seeds.
she looks at him with those cat eyes, and he's like, "Damn, son."
She flicks her little kitty cat ears and
And he
She
goes, "You
really
may
does.
choose a woman." And she's like, "This girl's the best singer." And he goes, I don't want her." And he goes, "But this girl's the best hunter." And he goes, "Yeah, but I don't want her." And then they're like, and then all of a sudden, some sort of Navi saxophone starts playing. And then,
And then I think Sebastian chimes in and he says, "Sha la 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 do do sha." I mean, that's the vibe we're getting is
dude,
and
I mean, this is a PG-13 movie, I think. That is like almost an R-rated scene. Like,
yeah,
it's really rough.
yeah.
Um,
There's
And
some
then in the scene that is most like Ferngully to me, they start wheeling in the massive pieces of equipment, right?
yep.
And this is where we see that Jake from State Farm has decided to fight back, right? Uh, Everyone starts to fight. Jake Sully is, like, and this is when the Colonel sees him on the footage.
Yeah, we get a good enhance.
Yes, a good old like and we see that at this point Sigourney Weaver and her people are like literally there, and effectively she realizes, like, look man, this tree is like the basis of all of their religion and everything. If you destroy it, we're in deep shit.
Yeah,
um so
and they don't
and I
care.
mean, they of course they don't care. But I will go ahead and just add, we are at now like an hour and a half into this movie. We're literally 90 minutes in when she smacks Giovanni Ribisi in the face, like, which is very satisfying. Um, and the Colonel, of course, is there wearing full military fatigues, right? And this is your classic end of the second act. Like, she has to go. He goes back to that town and says, "Look, you've got to leave. This stuff is bad." And she goes to her dad like, you hooked up? Wait, what?" Which is really funny.
We did it in
Um,
front of the tree, so it's done.
yeah, in front of God and everyone.
Yep, in front of
But
AWA.
but like literally, this is the end of the second act, right? You have your classic falling out with everyone. That's how the act structures go. But then the last hour of this effectively is action sequences.
Yes,
Like,
yes, and we get a lot of body switching, like
yeah,
frantic, because Jake is doing this stuff between he's mostly in the Navi and the Avatar, but what is happening is he's interfering with actions, and then the military people find him and pull him out. They're cutting off machines and pulling him out. And then there's a sequence where, like we mentioned earlier, where they steal a ship and have like a what do you call it? Like one of those little trailers that they set up for the research far away, like an outpost kind of thing. They steal that with one of the little hookup things inside, like a machine that he can link to the avatar. So they take that and parked it somewhere, and they use that because they keep getting pulled out of the machines while they're trying to interfere with the military, basically destroying the tree. Um,
yeah,
and and then they succeed in destroying the tree. The Navi have tied Jake Sully and Sigourney Weaver up because they no longer trust them, because now they know that they sort of betrayed them, even though they don't want to. And Sigourney Weaver never did, but that's just what happened with Jake. And the tree gets knocked down, and then they leave because they have to leave, and it's very sad, and they're all crying and stuff. And um, Jake and Zoe Saldana broke up, so that was really sad. And then is he gets back into a machine, and he decides that he's going to try to save them. So he goes and gets his dragon, and it was alluded to earlier in the movie that there was a giant banshee that I don't know if there's only like one at a time or if they're just really, really rare, but only five Navi had ever ridden this kind of dragon before, this giant dragon, the Turok, whatever. And so he decided he was going to go and get that one. So he takes his dragon and goes and captures the big one and takes it back to the Navi people to show them that he's one of them and that he's willing to fight, and they all respect him because he came back with the big dragon.
Exactly. And we should mention here just very quickly, Michelle Rodriguez's character starts to turn here because she's not happy with it. And that, like, so she's going to help them kind of scoot around because the whole thing as it's happening, they need to be plugged into this stuff. Like, and so, like, when this huge tree falls down, like, it's like their entire world isn't, like, this tree is massive. It's hard to really, like, grasp unless you could see it. But, like, when it falls, a bunch of them get crushed to death, including the father. Wes Studi's guy dies. And so, like you said, he comes back. When they get unplugged, it's very much like the Matrix. All of a sudden, they just kind of go limp.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're empty. Like, they're empty. And so, you know, it's interesting because I think prior to these issues, they would just, like, go to sleep at night. And so the Navi didn't really see them be vacant, because that probably would have been really creepy for them if they had seen that before. But now that the bad guys are, like, basically chasing them around and pulling them out of the machines constantly, they're like fainting and stuff. And there's, you know, a brutal scene when they're cutting the trees down, and Zoe Saldana is trying to pull Jake, and he won't wake up because he's not in his thing yet. He's having a plate of scrambled eggs. And so
really gross looking food, by the way. All the food looks disgusting.
Whether
it's a fruit thrown at you or what. Yeah. But yeah, no. Like, and it's funny because, like, one-on-one, the Navi kick their asses, like, because they're 10 feet tall, whatever they're supposed to be. But, like, the head warrior guy, like, gets in the back of one of these giant transport planes.
Yeah, it
just
out, like,
kills, like,
6 guys.
people. Before he's shot. And then you know, we have that really sad moment where Natiri's Banshee dies. Yeah, How to Kill Our Dragon. But yeah, and then Michelle Rodriguez puts a feather in her hair, gives herself some face paint, just says, "Let's do it." Like, I do love. Moore gets shot but survives, I believe. And
that was an interesting scene too, because I was wondering, like, what happens to them if they, like, are mortally wounded, as in the Avatar. And it showed, like, he gets shot, and then he basically is awoken from the pain, and he comes out and he's, like, jarred. You know, he climbs out of the machine, and he's obviously having a hard time because his human body is not injured like that. So that was
exactly. Yeah, the last thing we need to talk about, because it matters very much to the end, and, like, is that there's a ritual they do as people, essentially bodies, are dying, to transfer their spirit to the life tree thing, right? Newa. And we're going to have some of our major characters essentially get killed, and they're going to try to use this process to save their lives. And we're talking only about this movie at the moment, right? And at the time, we didn't know there was going to be 9 sequels or whatever. So the first one to get this done that we see, I believe, is them trying to save Sigourney Weaver's character, right?
Yeah, and what they're trying to do, like, she gets shot, her human self gets shot, and they are going to try to transfer her soul into her avatar. So they lay them both down, they do their little prayer dance thing, and I guess Sigourney's soul goes into Awa, and the the holy lady explains that she has to pass through the eye of Awa, so she has to go through Awa and come out again. So she goes in, but I guess she's too weak and she died.
Yeah. So we see this process happening. We don't really, I mean, they explain it, but it's very wooey woo
Yeah,
mystic
it's magic
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah. Um, at the end, as we get closer to the finish line here, the evil colonel, like, I guess we did, I don't know if we mentioned this or not, but
No, we didn't talk about that. There's a lot to
the
this movie.
yeah, the atmosphere is mildly poisonous to humans. Like, this is a moon around a giant planet, right? That looks kind of like a blue version of Jupiter. But because of that, the gravity is lower and the air is not exactly breathable. It's close, but they need kind of artificial respiration of some sort. And so the colonel goes out into space a couple times here, more than anyone else does. But effectively, he now is in one of these giant mech suits, very much like the second Aliens movie, and he's going to try to just kill Jake while he's in his pod. Before Jake shows up with the Avatar riding one of the Panther things, and they have kind of the big final fight, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so well, that's actually Zoe Saldana that rides the Panther thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and that scene is really cool where it hops out when they realize that Awa heard Jake's call, like he asked for help, and all the creatures of the planet are now attacking the humans. And the panther comes and he is like postures or whatever, is really spook scary, and then kind of bows down. So she rides it, and then they have a big fight, and then Jake shows up when um, the bad guy military guy like basically gets her trapped under the dead panther thing,
Right.
and then they have a big fight, and then the military guy realizes that Jake is in this little trailer. It's like his human body, and so he goes and he busts a window and starts smashing the machines that Jake is inside to control his avatar, and like messes up the connection. And he also picks him up by his tail hair by his no, wait, does he pick him up by his tail? No, he just picks him up by his ponytail.
By the ponytail.
Yeah, okay, so
It's
it's not
weird.
his. Well, and there is their tail has the weenus. Their ponytail on their hair does not, right?
Other way around.
Their hair ponytail has the weenus?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention to that part of the movie, but I'll go back and rewatch it to be really sure. But
Sure.
so anyway, they have this big battle, and Zoe Saldana gets out from underneath the panther at the last moment and is able to shoot the bad guy military guy and kill him. And then she goes inside the trailer and rescues Jake, who has passed out trying to get to a mask. And she puts a mask on his little tiny baby human body. Um, and, they cry and look at each other. And she didn't even make a comment about how tiny he was. I feel like I would have if that were me, but whatever.
But like then, very very pointedly, he says, "I'm done being human," right? And they do the magical ceremony to him, right?
Yep.
This is Jake Sully signing off, and she's kissing his tiny human form. Which again, I mean, you kind of alluded to it, but if it turned out that there was like a tiny version of your husband living inside of your regular version of your husband, you'd mention it.
Yeah.
I
You'd
think.
be like, wow, you're tiny. Like, what is this? Like a
Yeah.
little baby. And that's what I said when we were watching it. I was like, oh, it's like a baby. So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so they get rid of all the humans, and it ends pretty abruptly at this point, actually. It's like,
Well, we don't know if it works, right? Like she takes the mask off of his body, kisses his face, they're all waving, and then credits. Like we don't know if he made it at this point, right? Obviously, there's sequels now, so you know what happened. But like,
well, So I think we do because they show us the ceremony and they show us, he signs off and they show us the ceremony and he said it was his birthday, which I don't know if it was really his birthday or if he was just
No,
saying it's his.
he's Frosty the Snowman. Happy birthday.
Okay, so he's just saying it's my birthday because I'm about to go be born in my blue avatar body. Okay.
Exactly. That's how
Okay.
I
I was
interpreted
like,
it.
it could really be his birthday. I don't know. Like maybe they had to wait for it to be symbolic, but they like you gotta wait for your birthday to get your new body. But so they show the ceremony, and then the very last scene is the avatar opens its eyes.
Boom.
So
Yeah. Okay, you're right. So I guess it did.
yeah, I mean, but
Um,
it's like a 1 second thing, like where you see that one thing, and then we get the sequel. And have you seen The Way of the Water?
I have, but I feel like we should wait to talk about it because we will inevitably do it when the next one
Okay.
comes out, right? But I liked it. I just like you. I like this one better.
Yeah, I feel
Um,
like that one has more plot issues, like more and I use this very loosely, plot holes. Like obviously there's a lot that you have to just like go along with for a movie like this. But I felt like there were just some more issues with that one that were like, wait, what? Like what? But whatever. It gets harder, the more story they've told you, I guess it's harder to keep it making sense as they go along. So that was kind of my issue. But I love
yeah,
this movie.
that's fair. So your final thoughts then? Why don't we just end it? Since the movie just
Final
ends,
thoughts. I
Yeah.
love this movie. Watch it on as big and clear of a screen as you possibly can. Like, this is a movie to be experienced. It's very good. If you love sci-fi, if you love Ferngully, if you love Pocahontas, watch Avatar. And the Blue People one, not the M. Night Shyamalan one from the 2000s.
Yeah, I'm not going to add much. Like, I enjoyed this movie. I agree you need to see it on a huge screen because otherwise, what's the point? Don't watch this on your iPad. Um, but past that, I, I don't know why I didn't watch this more. But I remember seeing it in theaters, loving it, and rewatching it. I was like, oh, there's more here than I remembered. So I'm excited for the new one that's going to come out, and I'll try to see it in theaters. Why not? Anyway, thanks for doing all you do to keep us relevant. Next week we're doing an Ernest movie, so completely different quality.
Yes.
But yeah, no, we appreciate you, and of course we kind of broke up the Christmas movies to talk about one that's coming out now. But yeah, no, thanks for listening, thank you for supporting, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for sharing. And I'll see you next week when we talk about Ernest Saves Christmas.
We
Thanks,
see
everyone.
you. Thank you.
Myopia Movies is executive produced by Nick Hoffman and produced by Alex Ewalt, Keiko Childs, Matt Quinn, Nick Hoffman, and Noor Trinette. It is edited and engineered by Noor Trinette. The theme song is Surf Shimmy by Kevin MacLeod from Incomtech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. All rights reserved. Thanks for listening.